Welcome, everybody, to the 46th episode of the Advanced Dungeons and Dynamics 365 Bare Bones Configuration Guide live stream, where we're going out and we're configuring Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations from the ground up. And we've been working through this for 46 episodes. Soon we'll be maybe next week we'll get to the 50th episode. And we're rocking and rolling. So what we've done so far is we've configured all the financials, and over the past couple of live streams, we've been working through products and configuring products in the system. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to finish off what we were working on in the previous live stream, which was going out and configuring product attributes and categories and hierarchies. And we're going to assign these to products and see how these work. This may be a short episode, but every time I say that, it tends to be longer than I thought. So let's go over and let's just start. And for those of you that haven't, this is the first time that you're seeing this, then what we're doing is we're working through all of this through the Advanced Dungeons and Dynamics 365 labs. You may think, why is it Advanced Dynamics and Dungeons and Dynamics 365? It's because my grandmother said that if you can implement Dynamics 365 in a Dungeon and Dragon setting, then you can implement it anywhere. And so that's what we're doing. We're going out and we're setting up a company within Faerûnian, and we're going to have all the adventuring supplies for the Waterdeep Trading Company. So let's look at what we've got and what we've been doing. What we've been doing is, if I can go into here, is we've been going out and in the previous episode we went out and started creating a category hierarchy. Now we're going to expand out on this a little bit more, but this is where we left off. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to assign our attributes to it, or to each of these items, and then assign products to it. And then we're going to go and see how these attributes work in the system. Now, what we're working through is we're working through the Bare Bones Configuration Guide. So that's why this is called the Advanced Dungeons and Dynamics 365 Bare Bones Configuration Guide live stream, because we've documented all of this and we're working through, in this case, the fourth module of the product information, the PIM configuration. And we've just finished the configuration of the category hierarchies. So as we move through this, then we're going to move on and we're going to perform a couple more tasks before we get to assigning attributes to our products. And what we're going to do now is we're going to assign our category to a role. And the category hierarchies can be used for procurement, they can be used for sales, they can be used for a whole slew of different options. And what we're going to do is we're going to say, what do we want to use this for in the system? So let's go out and look at that. And we're going to assign this category here to a couple of the roles. We'll do a little bit more than I've got in the documentation. So what we want to do is we want to find the category hierarchy role associations. So this is the tool that we're going to use to enable these, and we can access this through the menu search, like I'm doing here, or we can go over to product information management, like we're doing here, and go to setup, and then we've got the category hierarchy role associations over here in the categories and attributes. So we've been through a number of these already, but we want to finish off, in this case, the category management. Now this is a really, I think I said this is a really important step that we need to do, because if we don't do this properly, then we're not going to see the attributes pop up in the system. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to create a new one here. And what we've got is we've got all of these different types of hierarchies. And we'll go and change a couple of these. But the reason why there's a number of different hierarchies is because we may have different hierarchies for different purposes. Now, what I'm going to, we've got some sales and commerce hierarchies here, but also we've got procurement hierarchies. The reason why we might want to have a different hierarchy for procurement than for sales is because we may buy things that we don't sell. So we want to have raw materials and parts and supplies in the procurement area. For engineering product management, we may have R&D products in that hierarchy that we're not selling, and also we may not be buying it normally, so we have some control over those. But what I want to do is I want to go out and I want to add the hierarchy, in this case, to the commerce product hierarchy. And the reason why, so now we're going and we're selecting the hierarchy that I just created in the previous live stream, which is the global hierarchy. Now I named it global because in this case a lot of the products are going to be the same, and maybe you only have one product hierarchy in the system. Now this is one hierarchy that we can set up, but I can set up some other hierarchies, and we could set up a sales hierarchy, and that can be the global. And then maybe what we do is we can have a retail channel hierarchy, which is global as well. And then if I wanted to, okay, so that's actually saying that we don't want to do that. So I'm going to delete this role here. Yes. And then also maybe we want to have for procurement, we may want to have this global hierarchy. We can go and change this afterwards, but it's entirely up to us. Now, as you may also notice that there's some other hierarchies here, like engineering product hierarchy and tracing hierarchy, and that we may want to use, but I don't really care about those right now, so I'm just going to ignore those. And let's get rid of the procurement just for now, because we don't. I'll set that up when we go through the procurement area. So now that we've done that, what we want to do is we're moving on to the next stage. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at our hierarchies that we have and then assign category groups to them, or attribute groups. So what that means is that for this type of product, we're going to have these attributes associated with them. And we're going to, in this case, we're going to go out and create some, we don't have weapons, but we've got clothing and some other items. So we're going to go out and set those up in the system. Now, so if I could go back to the category hierarchies and do a search here. Or I can do something, I've probably shown this a couple of times, but I'm here in I've got the link to my category hierarchy, so I can just go view details. And that's going to take me over to to our hierarchy, list of hierarchies. And then I've got my list of hierarchies here. And then I can go out and I can edit this. Interesting thing, I should have, if I was actually in here to start off with, then notice that I can go back to the hierarchy type, so I can go from the category to hierarchy to the hierarchy type and get back to where I was before, but we're not interested in that. So now I'm going to go and edit that. Now that we've got our hierarchy, then what we can do is we can, let's see. I'm just checking. Let me see here. Okay. Now, if you notice here, now I made a mistake. So, and this is something that I've done that I always do along the way, and this is a little bit confusing because I've gone into the category hierarchy, and I want to be able to assign some attribute groups to this, but it's not showing up, and that's because I'm using the wrong category hierarchy view. So if I go back, so I've got my category hierarchy. What I want to do is I want to find the commerce category hierarchy, or actually product hierarchy. And if I open up that, so now that I've assigned, this is the reason why we've gone through and we've assigned these roles to our hierarchies, because when we go into the, in this case, commerce hierarchies, then what we're going to see is we're going to see more information than we saw before, including the product attribute groups, which is what I was looking for. Now, if I go to, I think, procurement, and I think that's a category hierarchy, then if I go to the procurement categories, then this is going to a different area, but actually I don't have any, I haven't assigned any hierarchies to that group, so it's not going to show up. But notice that there's different category groups that are associated here. So let's go back to the commerce product hierarchy. And so what this is going to do is this is going to take us into the area where we can go out and we can assign our information that we want for our hierarchies. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose the clothing, and then I'll start off by saying what product attributes do I want to associate with this group. So notice there's a lot of information that's showing up here. I'm going to add one here, and I'm going to add the clothing to this group. And then the attributes are going to show up here for rarity and condition for the clothing, and then I'm going to save that. And then, so I can go to the services now, and I can add, actually I don't have any services items, so we won't do that. But I'll go into the storage, and I'm going to add a storage set of attributes to that. Let me do that again. Storage, select it, and go OK. So now we've got the storage attributes. I can go and I can view the attributes. Now, also notice that this is has a rarity code to it. So I can also, if I want to, I can add a product group here at the parent level, which is the rarity. And then this is going to, and all of these can inherit it, but only if I tell it to. So notice I've got clothing. I can choose to edit this. And I can also inherit the attribute from the parent. So now if I go to the view attributes, then we're going to see rarity and condition showing up. And then also if I go to the storage, then I can edit this and I can say I want to inherit from the parent level. And so this is going to have general and storage. If you remember back, then rarity was actually in the storage and the general. But if I view the attributes, then it's just showing me the rarity that's here. Also, while we're here, then what we'll look at is we'll look at this the default value that's here. And if we want to, we can define what the default value of this attribute is. In this case, all of the attributes are going to be common, so that's fine for us. And then if I go back again to the clothing and look at the attributes, then the condition is going to be new, and the rarity is going to be common in most cases. But I could, if I'm always selling used items, and I could set the condition to be used. So that's a default value that's going to show up in the system. So now that we've done that, then what we're going to do is we're going to, if I look at the documentation, we're going to go out and we're going to associate the products with the category. Now I'll show a couple of different ways that we can do this, and as we sort of move through. So I'm going to go into clothing. Let's start with copying here. And what I can do is I can say I want to add a product. And then we're going to see all of the products that are available. And I can add that to this group. And then it's going to be assigned to this. And also we can update any settings that we've got here in the system. I can go and I can say I want to repair them, or I want to say I want to add products. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to show me the hierarchy, and then I can add the products there. This sort of doesn't make a lot of sense in how we're doing this. Now, also what I can do here is I can go to my clothing, and I can add my boots to this. So I'll do that, and I'm purposely not adding all of the items because I'm going to show you a different option as well. And I can add the barrel here to the item and see this and just update it. So now what we've got is we're starting to add the products to the category hierarchy, and we're getting all of this information sort of updated. Now, something that I don't do a lot, but I should, is I can go into product information management, and what we can do is we can look at the released products by category. Now, if I do this, then this goes out and it's showing me the hierarchy. So I can choose my hierarchy here, and we've only got one. And then I can see all of the products that have been assigned to this. But if I select a subgroup, then what this is going to do is it's going to just show me the items that are associated with this node. So we can see the scroll copy, and the armor repair isn't there, and the barrel is there. So now what I can do here is I can say, I want to add a product here, and I'm going to add the tunic to this hierarchy and update the information. I'm going to go to the repair, and I'm going to add the products. In this case, it's going to be armor repair. And then I could go to the storage area, and I could add the products. I can add the backpack and the wicker basket and the sack. And that finishes off the allocation of all of the, let me do that again, backpack, the wicker basket, and the sack. I'm going to select them and move them over and then add them. And now all of the products, when let's see if I can look at that, then all of those products have been added to this group. So now we can see all of the products have been linked into these categories, but I can now move through these and see the different services that are associated with it. Now, I may want to, for the services, I may want to go out and change this hierarchy and move this so that the services are under like armor. So then we've got armor repair or something that's different, but this works just fine for now. So this is, we're getting close to the end of the stage. And what we're going to do is now we're going to go out and maintain these attributes. So we're going to modify these attributes within the system. And we do that here within the released products that we're looking at. But now that we've gone out and we've configured these, now that we've configured the links for the products to the hierarchy, which is linked to the attribute groups, then we should be able to now see attributes associated with them. So it's always fingers crossed if this works. So we'll go out and take a look. So now what I want to do is, since I'm here and looking at a product like the backpack, then what I should be able to do is I should be able to click on the product attributes. And now the attribute is showing up. So now I can go out for this one product and I can modify the rarity of this product. I can go into the clothing and I could go into this, into like the tunic, and I can look at the condition, for example, the condition of this and the rarity of it, and we're going to see the characteristics automatically showing up. So as we're going out and creating these, then we can now go out and modify these attributes. So we now have this extra layer of information that we can start storing against our products. While we're here, we can also see that while we're looking at this product, we can go to the product categories, and then we can this is going to be the hierarchy and the category that this product is associated with, or just this product. So what we were doing before is we were assigning the product to a category. And now what we can do is if we go from the release product, we can assign a category to a product. Now, if I want to go out and go to the area that we're normally going to, which is the release products, then directly from here, so we're not looking at this in a category hierarchy, but now I could go and look at the product attributes directly from here, and we could look at the attributes for the boots as well, and we can see the condition and so forth. Something that I haven't tried that I'll look at is if we have the variants. Notice that the variants don't have the option for product categories. So for a variant, it's always going to inherit the categories from the parent level, from like boots. It's not going to, we can't go out and have specific characteristics for different boot dimensions, which would have been useful, because if we have sort of like a style which is used or secondhand or pre-loved, then we could go out and have a category associated with it, and so forth. But that really is the main way that we can go out and we can maintain these products. Now, once we've got these products set up, then there's so much more later on that we can use these categories for. For example, when we go out and if we add products to orders, then we can go out and we can do a search for these products based on the hierarchy. Also, what we can do is we can go out and we can create additional category hierarchies that may not be linked to specific roles or purposes, but we can use those for reporting. For example, I did this for tagging. If, for example, we want to have hashtags that are associated with a product, then we could go out and we can add the products to all these different groups and link them there. Now, and so this is having also additional hierarchies means that you can get around the issue of only being able to have the product associated with one category node or one leaf node in the category. So what we've done is, let me see. Yeah. So that completes this this section. So what we've done is we've, if we look at everything that we started off to do, we've set up some attributes, some attribute groups. We assigned those to hierarchies, or we created hierarchies. Then we went and linked them all through. And then we now have the ability to add as many of these attributes as we want to the attribute groups. And we can go out and we can add like magic level. We could add initiative bonuses. We could add anything that we want to these products that allow us to go out and add some flavor to our products in the system. So just looking down, I'm just looking at what we're going through next. And let me see. So in the next live stream that we're going to set up, what we're going to do is we're going to configure some product relationships and show you how to manage those. So that's the next item on the list, which should be in a couple of days. So we're going to go out and release that out. So I thought this was pretty fun. I like product attributes because it goes out and starts adding some color to our products. So with that said, what we're going to do is we're going to finish off this live stream. It's taken about half an hour, so it's the perfect timing that I aim for these live streams. If anyone has any questions, then don't hesitate to contact me. You can add comments into the live streams on either LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, depending on where you're watching this, and we'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. We love your feedback, and if anyone wants to go out and follow through with these, then through these examples, then I'll just give a plug. So you can go out to the adnd365.com/start, and you can actually pick up the two guides that we're working through, which is the finance and then also the supply chain management guides. And you'll be able to work through all of this on your own, going out and using a lifecycle services environment if you want to. Also, if you want to support us, every copper piece helps. Then you can go to the Patreon site, which has a link up there, and also you can get to that by patreon.com/adnd365. And again, any questions that you have or anything that any interest that you may have in this grassroots sort of bootstrapped training, then just drop us a note. So with that said, I'll close out this live stream and catch you on the next one, where we're going to be looking at product relationships and setting up some cross-selling and upselling and other different relationships for our products.